Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Political Ray. We've got a little bit of news. It was a little bit of a slower weekend, but we do have a couple things. The Oscars took place, which nobody really cares about, but that did happen. I'm not going to cover anything on that because nobody cares about that anyway. Bunch of elite Hollywood people's doing their thing. Nobody cares. Anyway, they got that, and then it didn't take long for this to come out. As far as I understand, this happened late Friday night, early Saturday. Anyway, I think it was Saturday, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. Anyway, Zelenskyy came out and said that he's actually ready to sign the minerals deal with the U.S. after being thrown out of the White House by President Trump and J.D. Vance. So we got that going on. And, we got a couple other things that had come out previously from when, the Biden administration was in office. And we'll get into this. A lot of stuff happening in the UK, said that they're going to put boots on the ground if need be. And they've dedicated a lot of money to Ukraine now as well. So we'll get into this. First off, just real quick, from the Post Millennial, we got this story. This is we'll close that. From the Post Millennial, breaking: Zelenskyy agrees to sign mineral deal after getting kicked out of White House meeting. So he still wants this, it's a good thing for Ukraine. I think he realizes this. Um, I'm not a fan of this guy. I mean, I think he's a beggar. I mean, that's plain and simple. I think the guy he's going around. He got thrown out of the White House, went from there straight to the UK and was begging them for money. And they were like, okay. He left the United States. Now think about this. Every time he's come to the United States begging for money during the Biden admin, they just said, okay, here's some more money. I mean, the guy, we have been this guy's cash cow for a very long time now. 3 years and counting. So, and President Trump said, no more. And I'm all for that. I'm tired of my taxpayer dollars don't go into this guy for an endless war that doesn't seem to have any end in sight, because he keeps putting these different things into the negotiations and everything else. It's my belief that this guy does not want the war to end because it's funneling money to his pockets. That's my opinion. That's my belief. You can tell me differently, but that's just how I feel about it. I mean, anyway, and I'll tell you why in just a little bit. But anyway, we'll get into this from the Post Millennial. Ukrainian President Zelenskyy said that Ukraine is ready to sign the minerals agreement that has been negotiated by the Trump administration. This comes just one day after President Donald Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance met in the Oval Office, where the meeting quickly turned contentious. I wouldn't say quickly. It took, like I said in my previous video, the meeting was very cordial for the first 30 minutes or so before Zelenskyy said something that J.D. Vance didn't like. He got on the defensive, and then, then Trump got on the defensive. So it's just, but I'm sure everybody saw that video. But anyway, Zelenskyy posted on X, "We are ready to sign the minerals agreement, and it will be the first step towards security guarantees, but it's not enough, and we need more than just that. A ceasefire without security guarantees is dangerous for Ukraine. We've been fighting for 3 years, and Ukrainian people need to know that America is on our side." Okay, look. Like I said, look, the minerals deal is a good deal for Zelenskyy and for Ukraine. It guarantees security, as I've said before, within Ukraine, because it gives United States a vetted interest in Ukraine. We're going to be in there helping them. I mean, I believe it was a $500 billion investment within Ukraine, and the United States is going to defend that. It's a good deal for him, but he wants more stipulations on top of that. I don't know if he wants more money or if he wants to have, U.S. ground troops within the country. I don't agree with that, but I mean, like I said, it's a good deal for him. He needs to just take it and shut up, because it's a good deal for him and it gives him the security he wants. But he still says he wants more. So you never know what this guy is going to do. I mean, let's see. He then added that Ukraine wants peace. I don't think he does. in the war with Russia, and that the deal on minerals is just the first step towards security guarantees and getting closer to peace. Our situation is tough, but we can't just stop fighting and not having guarantees that Putin will not return tomorrow. Okay, I understand that part, but take the minerals deal, just shut up, sign the deal, and then deal with the rest of it later. Like I said, it's a good deal for Ukraine. I'm not going to just keep repeating myself like I sometimes do, but it's a good deal for him. So he needs to just take it, shut his mouth. But that's my opinion. Vance, as well as Trump, laid into to Zelenskyy during the meeting, where both expressed that the leader was ungrateful for the help that the United States has offered to Ukraine during the interview after the disastrous meeting. Zelenskyy told Fox News that he thought the relationship with the United States could be salvaged. It can be. It can. Absolutely 100%. Anyway, when he was asked by Fox host Brett Baer if Zelenskyy felt that he needed to apologize, he responded, "I'm not sure that we did something bad. I think sometimes some things we have to discuss out of the media with all due respect." Um, his broken English, I think he's just pretty much saying, maybe behind closed doors, we needed to do this behind closed doors instead of in front of the media, but it happened in front of the mainstream media, so it got out there, and you got people on both sides, people defending Trump, people defending Zelenskyy. Oh, messed up my microphone there for a sec. Anyway, so I think Trump and JD Vance handled it just fine. That's my opinion. And could they have handled it better? Probably, but I think it was fine. Zelensky's an ungrateful little money monger, and he's a beggar. And the fact that he didn't get the money that he wanted, like I said, every time he's come to the U.S. during the Biden administration, he's walked away with, billions more dollars going his way. So the fact that he didn't get it this time, I think, is why he was upset. But anyway, so the Putin has chimed in, and he says, "Look, we've got more minerals than Ukraine does. We can sign something with the U.S. This is an example of what I was saying before, that this is a good thing for Ukraine." Now Putin has come out and said, "Look, I can do a deal with y'all too. You want some minerals? I've got a bunch more than Ukraine does." Maybe he's just trying to top Ukraine, maybe, but I think more of it as you know, say the U.S. signs a minerals deal with Ukraine and then does one also with Russia. I don't think that would be a bad thing. Let me just state for everybody who thinks, look, I'm not a fan of Putin. I'm not. I'm not a fan of Zelenskyy either. I consider them both to be dictators, and I don't like either one of them. But for the sake of peace, I would say you could probably do a deal with both countries, and why not? Have a vetted interest in both countries, and then if either one of them starts to act up again, you can say, "Look, we've got this deal in place. Don't be doing anything stupid." You know, the U.S. has an interest within both countries. Don't do anything stupid to jeopardize our friendship. I think it would be a good thing. That's just what I think. But you can tell me something different if you want to. You can try and change my mind. But anyway, Zelensky's been coming out and talking pretty much everywhere since the whole fiasco at the White House. Let's take a look at this clip. This is I mean, he's straight up saying now that if the U.S. doesn't play ball and do what he says, this is what I took from this. Okay, that if the U.S. isn't willing to play ball and do what he wants, then we're going to end up sending our sons and daughters to fight in this war. No, we're not. Anyway, take a look at this and tell me what you think. It's nuts. It's getting wild.
The U.S. will have to send their sons and daughters exactly the same way as we are sending their sons and daughters to war, and they will have to fight because it's NATO that we're talking about, and they will be dying.
No, they won't. There's no look. I'm going to tell you right now. You can say that you're for Ukraine and you stand with Ukraine, all that you want. But I'm going to tell you right now, the moment that, say, now, very, very hypothetically, if there was a draft, okay, to enlist people to go over to a foreign country. And keep in mind, the last draft that we had was Vietnam. But you have a draft for people to go over to fight in this war for Ukraine. How many people are going to oppose this? It's a valid question, I think. In my opinion, I don't see a lot of people, even these people that are saying they stand with Ukraine and they're out and protesting. I'm going to tell you right now, if one of them people gets selected in a draft to go over and fight on the front lines for Ukraine, I don't think they'd be happy about it. They can say that they stand with Ukraine all they want, but in my opinion, the second that they have to face the front lines and fight in actual combat, they're going to change their tune real quick. That's my opinion. Maybe not. I'm sure there's a lot of people that would be like, okay, fine, whatever. But I'm going to say a majority of those people who say I stand with Ukraine, they're going to change their tune once it's actually them having to go to the front lines. That's what I think. And I don't think that the U.S. is going to send its own people over to Ukraine to fight for their war. I don't think it's going to happen. Anyway, so we got this came out and this was pretty interesting to me. Okay, apparently President Biden during his administration had a conversation with Zelenskyy, and it doesn't surprise me that the mainstream media buried this and it hasn't come out, and this is the first I'm hearing of it. It doesn't surprise me whatsoever. But this is President Biden was apparently on a phone call with Zelenskyy after we'd already given a crap ton of money to him. I guess apparently Biden lost his cool and told him that he needed to be more grateful. Kind of like how President Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance did the other day in the Oval Office. But take a look at this, and you can tell me what you think. But like I said, it doesn't surprise me that this got buried and that it's just coming out now. It doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, that's right, Kate. So in this conversation, President Biden called President Zelenskyy to tell him about a roughly $1 billion package of additional equipment and weapons for the Ukrainian military coming from the United States. During the course of the call, President Zelenskyy continued, according to a number of officials who we spoke with who are familiar with the call, President Zelenskyy continued to talk about the additional equipment and weapons and support that he and his military needed. According to these officials, they said that President Biden finally just got frustrated and lost his temper and told President Zelenskyy, look, you could be a little bit more grateful. The reason that this...
Look, like I said before, it doesn't surprise me that this got buried. I mean, apparently this was in 22. So, like I said, it doesn't surprise me that it got buried because it's a negative look on President Biden. So it doesn't surprise me that it got buried because the mainstream media are leftists. That's all there is to it. The only one that's got somewhat leanings towards the right is Fox News. I'll give them credit where it's due, but there's a lot of the stuff that they cover that's just left wing talking points as well. That, like I said, they do have, like, Gutfield's pretty good. I like him. Hannity is all right. Tucker was really cool before they ousted him. But I think all mainstream media leans left. But like I said, the only one that has any kind of conservative views at all is Fox. So anyway, we keep this going.
Story is interesting to us and is something that we're reporting on and officials were speaking to us about, is because it shows that all these months ago, President Biden already realized that there was going to be a point where the American people, members of Congress, where people would start potentially pushing back on all these billions and billions of dollars of aid and equipment that the U.S. has been providing to Ukraine. And he knew that the narrative out there needed to be that the Ukrainian people and President Zelenskyy were grateful for it if this was the support.
Okay, so there you go. I mean, it's not just President Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance losing their temper with this guy. It was Biden as well. The guy's getting billions and billions of dollars, and then he throws a fit when there's any kind of resistance to him getting some money, and he throws a fit. It's the same thing that happened. Like, look, every time this guy came to the U.S. in October last year, and went on the tour helping, for helping the Democratic Party during the election. campaigned for the Democrats because he knew that that's his cash cow. He didn't want President Trump to win because he knew if he did that he was going to lose all his money. That's plain and simple. That's how I think. That's what I think. He didn't want to lose cash cow. That's why he was campaigning with the Democrats, because he knew that they would keep this war going and keep funneling his pockets with money. Taxpayer dollars, just straight to Zelenskyy. Now there's reports about, a lot of that money being funneled back to Democrats. So millions of dollars being funneled back to Democrats. So if that's true, it's pretty obvious is why they want the war to keep going, because they're lining their own pockets. Anyway, it's so and now Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, or outgoing, he's still the Prime Minister, but he keeps talking about the fact that he's going to support Ukraine 100% and blah 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 blah. But now this has come out saying that Canadian imported $200 million of Russian oil in 24 despite sanctions. So, there's old Trudeau playing both sides. Yeah, in the grand scheme of things, I guess 200 million isn't a lot compared to what Ukraine has received. But it's still pretty obvious that, Trudeau's playing both sides. So now Slovakia came out and said, no, we're not gonna be helping Ukraine in any way, shape, or form. This war shouldn't be continuing, and they want peace. So you've got this from the Slovakian, what is it? The Prime Minister of Slovakia. I wanted to say president, but I don't know why. Anyway, Slovakia will not support Ukraine either financially or militarily to enable it to continue the war. If others choose to do so, we will respect that. They want peace. They don't want this war to continue, just like we don't want it to continue. And I'm okay with that too. Despite that, the UK has said that they're going to go ahead and they're willing to put boots on the ground and aircraft in the skies in order to support Ukraine. And they've also they've dedicated, I think it was $3.3 billion over the next few years going to Ukraine to help them with the war effort. And they're saying that they're going to put boots on the ground. And take a look. This is insane that people just want this war to keep going and people to lose lives. It's insane to me. People shouldn't want this war to continue. You should be working towards peace, not funneling more money to Ukraine. They want this war to keep going because it lines their pockets. That's it. That's how I feel. That's what I think. So,
first, we will keep the military aid flowing and keep increasing the economic pressure on Russia.
Of course you will.
To strengthen Ukraine now. Second, we agreed that any lasting peace must ensure Ukraine's sovereignty and security, and Ukraine must be at the table. Third,
I agree with that.
In the event of a peace deal, we will keep boosting Ukraine's own defensive capabilities to deter any future invasion. Fourth, we will go further to develop a coalition of the willing to defend a deal in Ukraine and to guarantee the peace. Not every nation will feel able to contribute, but that can't mean that we sit back. Instead, those willing will intensify planning now with real urgency. The UK is prepared to back this with boots on the ground and planes in the air. Together with others, Europe must do the heavy lifting. But to support peace in our continent and to succeed, this effort must have strong US backing.
Yeah.
We're working with the US on
You're
this
not
point.
going to get it.
After my meeting with President Trump last week. And let me be clear, we agree with the President on the urgent need for a durable peace.
Well, at least
we need to deliver together. Finally, we agreed that leaders will meet again very soon to keep the pace behind these actions and to keep working towards this shared plan. We are at a crossroads in history today. This is not a moment for more talk. It's time to act, time to step up and lead, and to unite around a new plan for a just and enduring peace.
I disagree. I disagree with the thing. Let me tell you what I disagree with. I don't agree that this is a time for action and not talks. I disagree wholeheartedly. I think this is a perfect time for talking. Go talk it out. Come to an agreement, sign a minerals deal, sign it with Putin too. That gives you gives you interest by the United States within both countries. Maybe that I think that would go a long way as far as saving peace, or settling the peace agreements and everything else. I say get that done. That's the first step. Second, you can hash out the rest of it after that's done. Do I think that this guy is serious about putting boots on the ground? Maybe. Maybe not. I don't think so, because in my opinion, the guy doesn't secure his own borders, but he wants to send troops over to Ukraine to secure their borders. I don't believe he'll do it. I think he's just talking out his butt, but that's just me. I could be wrong. Maybe he will send troops over. But he's already dedicated $3.3 billion every year for the next, few years. I forget how many years long it was, but the guy's just, again, I'm going to say it. I don't understand why you would keep funneling money through to Ukraine. And a lot of people are saying, oh, well, Zelensky's a hero. He's not a dictator. He's a hero. He goes to the front line with his troops, blah, blah, blah. No, he doesn't. I'm going to tell you, he takes photo ops with troops, but do you think he's even come close to the front lines in that war? No, he hasn't. He's played dress up, and he's gone out and taken photos with his soldiers, which is fine. I don't hold that against him. But if you think that this guy's come anywhere near the front lines of this war, I think you're gravely mistaken. This guy, there's no way that he's going straight to the front lines. For one, he's the president of the country. He's not going to put himself at risk of getting shot or anything else. So, and he's not. And this guy, and a lot of people are saying he's a hero. He's not a dictator. Yes, he is. Because let me tell you why. The guy he's banned the Ukrainian Orthodox Church. Okay, he's exiled church leaders. He's banned political opposition parties. He's jailed political oppositions. He's banned members of his own party. He's jailed people of his own party. He banned media who criticized him. He jailed media who opposed him. He banned all that did not agree with him, and he jailed anybody who opposed him in Ukraine. That's a dictator. Plain and simple. The guy's a dictator. He's not a hero. Like I said before, if you think he's come anywhere close to the front lines of that war, you're gravely mistaken. Anyway, I think that's it. That's all I got for now. So we'll go ahead and end that on that. And hey, if you like what you saw, if you made it this far through my ramblings, go ahead and hit that subscribe button on YouTube. You can follow me on Rumble. I would suggest Rumble. I don't know why anybody watches on YouTube, but I do put them up there. And you can also follow me on X at ThePoliticalRay. And I hope you all have a good day and God bless.